Welcome to Tip TV Finance, where we're joined by Phil Thomas, Director at London South East. How are you today, Phil?
Very well, thank you. You well, Zach?
I'm very well. It's spring has sprung and everything. Is there anything exciting going on in the world of small caps at the moment?
There's lots of exciting things going on at the moment. Not always sure why. Of course, there's the big global attack on the internet, I guess, at the moment, with the ransomware things happening around the world. Yeah. That's not so much affecting the small caps, but we saw SOPH, FTSE 250 company, taking a really nice jump yesterday, 7% up, which was a decent amount for a FTSE 250. There's no news, there's no RNS, so I'm guessing that's on the idea of actually they're going to be selling a lot more antivirus subscriptions, and almost certainly are. I know certainly in our office we've been checking all ours to make sure we're fully up to date. So that was an interesting one yesterday. Markets are a bit funny anyway. Commodities up and down depending which day of the week it is, and oil and gas doing the same.
Record highs for the FTSE. I mean, is that trickling down to other areas?
Absolutely, yeah. I think there's general positive sentiment, but I think there's still caution. There's been some very. I'll come on to a couple of the interesting small caps on the site at the moment. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of stuff. So I mean, Vodafone released results yesterday, and this morning I think it was 6 point something billion loss. I think it was hang on, I better not get that wrong.
6.1 billion euro loss, which is horrific.
6.1 billion, that was one. And of course, share price was up best part of 4% this morning. So there's definitely positive sentiment around. And as you say, FTSE at all-time high, or record high certainly recently. But yeah, there's some great stories on the site at the moment as well. My first one I want to talk about is a company called MYSQ. The reason I have to mention that one is it's the most chatted about on our site the last week. It's also the most traded through our trading service, and it's trending at the moment, which means people are searching for it a lot on the site as well. I think there's the obvious reason that one's of interest is it's jumped 400% in the last couple of weeks. So I think a few people made quite a lot of money on it. It is a penny stock. I think it's trading about 5p at the moment off having a quick check. Market cap of 31 million. It strikes me as a very high multiple. They released an RNS a few days back saying they've released revenue targets of $5,000 a day, which sounds great. And you start multiplying that up, that doesn't come to all that much actually. So it does look to be trading a very high multiple. But they are in a very exciting area as well. So they're releasing software. I think it's Myanmar. Is that Burma? It's a mobile gaming platform basically, and they've had some success with that. Had one of their games go viral a little while back, and they've got a diverse suite of software offerings. They have a dating platform, a chat, online VoIP, and all such things. So there's a lot of noise and furore about that, and there's fiendish amounts of chat going on as well. Everybody's speculating as to what it might do next, and it has sort of thrown some feelers out there on some of its upcoming releases as well. So that one's of great interest at the moment.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you would have thought that whenever the big global brands, Facebook, Google, they would be dominating rather than a country-specific offering. But obviously, MySquare seems to be proving that theory wrong.
Yeah, it's lots of interesting developments there. The next one I've got, one we've mentioned a few times before, but Hurricane Energy. They're getting talked about a lot today. They've had some really dramatic movements. They were down 8% yesterday, and they're down. I think it is a little. It was about 6.5. It's been down as high as almost 10% today. So it's dropped quite dramatically the last couple of days. It's the most chatted about today. Market cap of 600 million, so a little bit bigger than the last one we just talked about. It's fallen since its results a few days ago. They weren't the most positive. And they're doing a lot of raising at the moment. They're trying to get cash. They're burning a lot of money, but have got some exciting prospects. And it's nice to see when they're actually drilling. They are drilling up in the Shetlands. So it's nice to see something a little local that's doing something interesting. But they do appear to be having to spend a lot of money before they can actually see any results. So I think the market's feeling a bit nervous about that.
So that'll be disappointing to some people. I mean, they're hoping that they were thinking of the assets rather than thinking about how much it would cost to get the assets out of the ground, let's say.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an old story in some ways. It's happened before with other companies, but they may have a lot of oil, and they have sort of said there's a load there. They've done. If you actually look on their website, they've got some lovely infographics explaining how big the oil fields are, and there's one sort of showing overlaid the oil field on London, and they got these huge findings, but I think they're 160 meters down. and they're a little bit fiddly to get to. And of course, with the oil price, what it is, there's all that whole cost benefit consideration as well. So I think they're looking to they're hoping to start getting oil out. I think it was in second half or first half of 2019. I think was the aim for that one. But yeah, they've been very positive. But I say that they are just using a lot of cash, and they had a warrant issue recently as well. So I think people are starting to worry about their short-term investment, I guess.
Okay. One final situation for us to chew over.
I haven't got another one.
Right.
there's lots of interesting movements. I mean, I've been watching the house builders the last few days. They've been doing interesting things. I think that the market's stabilising generally, because I think the French elections didn't give us any nasty surprises. There seems to be a general consensus Labour have got this one in the bag as well. Merkel's done well in Germany, so there seems to be a bit of stability across Europe, and we seem to be returning to a few sort of growth stories again. The market obviously likes the certainties, and things look to be settling. So I'm pleased, and some of the things we're looking at, I've invested in a few of the metal shares, and they seem to be recovering nicely. There was a big fall off in the copper price last few months, and a lot of those companies got aggressively sold, and they seem to be recovering now as well, which is nice. So yeah, interesting markets at the moment. Long may it continue. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have lots more interesting stories to tell.
Thank you very much. Phil Thomas, Director at London South East. Thanks for joining us today. Informative as usual.
Pleasure, Zach.